Papa, I want to farm.
Guy, are you serious right now? Guy, you be mumu. Enough. Michael, Victor, 20 million naira each. Emmanuel, 10 million naira and the land.
1 year. That's all they had. What happened in those 365 days? Let me show you. Chief Eze placed a black briefcase on the center table with a heavy thud. His 3 sons sat frozen in the living room of their Owerri home, hearts racing. 60 million, 20 years of savings from work and side businesses. Open it. Michael, the eldest at 31, leaned forward. Inside were stacks of crisp naira notes, rubber-banded and real. His heart raced. Each of you gets your share, Chief continued, adjusting his reading glasses. But there's a condition. 1 year from today, we meet here again. You'll show me what you built. Profits, losses, everything. Their mother, Modesty, spoke from her corner seat. Your father is serious. This isn't a gift, it's a test. Michael cleared his throat. Father, thank you. As you know, I have an MBA, a Master's in Business Administration. But to truly make an impact in corporate leadership, I need a doctorate in strategic management. This is an investment in human capital. His girlfriend had whispered last week. You can't be 31 taking Okada everywhere. Get a car. Image matters in business. Victor, the middle son at 27, jumped from his seat. Dad, perfect timing. You know I've always had an eye for fashion. Designer pieces, Italian accessories, Owerri's elite are hungry for class. I'll open the most exclusive boutique this city has seen. Prime location, international inventory, VIP treatment. Victor's vault will be legendary. He was already wearing an expensive tracksuit. The man lived and breathed style. Chief turned to his youngest. And you, Emmanuel? You just finished secondary school? What's your plan? Emmanuel, barely 19, looked at his calloused hands. Papa, I want to farm. The room went silent. Farm? Victor laughed. Guy, are you serious? I'm serious. The family land near the village, the one with the old abandoned fish pond. I want to rebuild it. Grow crops, raise fish. The land doesn't lie, Papa. Food will always sell. Michael shook his head. Emmanuel, we're building corporate empires here, and you want to plant yams? That's not scalable, bro. But Chief raised his hand. Enough. Michael, Victor, you each get 20 million naira. Emmanuel, you get 10 million naira and the family land. Victor's eyes lit up. Emmanuel nodded quietly. Thank you, Papa. That's more than enough. Michael and Victor exchanged glances. Their baby brother was taking less money and a neglected plot of land while they got cash and freedom to execute their sophisticated plans. Perfect, Victor whispered to Michael. More working capital for us. That night, the family feasted, but as they ate, each brother was already calculating. Michael pictured himself in a scholar's robe at international conferences. Victor imagined influencers shopping at his boutique. Emmanuel thought about soil composition and fish farming. 3 months later, Michael bought the car first, a sleek Toyota Camry for 17 million. Metallic grey leather seats. His girlfriend, Maya, practically screamed when she saw it. Baby, this is what I'm talking about. My future PhD holder. He enrolled in his doctoral program immediately. Life was perfect. Students on campus would see him pull up and whisper, "That's Michael Eze, MBA graduate, going places." The car had eaten most of his money, but Michael didn't care. It's basic business strategy, he told himself. You have to project success to attract success. This car is a strategic asset for networking and positioning. His Instagram reflected his new status, the Camry gleaming in golden hour, expensive dinners with Maya, academic events at upscale lounges. Each post got hundreds of likes. Each outing cost serious money. But the social capital? Invaluable. Meanwhile, Victor rented a shop on Weatherall Road, prime Owerri real estate, paying 3.2 million upfront for the entire year. He flew to Lagos and returned with suitcases bursting with designer inventory, Italian shoes, premium shirts, luxury watches, imported colognes, 8 million worth of stock. His Instagram exploded. Victor's vault, Grand opening this Saturday. Opening weekend was packed. Orders flooded in. Victor made impressive sales. He called Michael that night. "Bro, I'm a genius. I'll double my investment in 6 months." But Victor's real investment was his image. His Instagram became his second business club check-ins every weekend, bottle service videos, designer showcases. His follower count jumped to 12,000. His lifestyle expenses, over 300,000 monthly, maintaining the appearance of success. "You have to look like money to make money," he'd say, posting another champagne story. Emmanuel, though, silent. He'd taken his 10 million to the village, 5 acres of neglected land with an old abandoned pond. No Instagram posts, no glamour. He spent heavily in the first 2 months, rebuilding the fish pond into proper breeding sections, buying fingerlings and feed, planting 3 acres of cassava, purchasing basic equipment and a water pump. His brothers joked in the WhatsApp group, "Emmanuel probably doesn't even have network out there." Emmanuel posted once, a blurry photo of young cassava plants. 11 likes, no comments. He didn't care. By the 4th month, Michael was living his vision. Campus respect Maya on his arm, when his friend Chidi called desperately. "Guy, I need 800,000. Family emergency. I'll pay you back in 1 month, I swear." Michael lent it without hesitation. That's what they taught us in business school, he thought. Invest in relationships. Build social capital. Chidi's connected. This will pay dividends. Victor's boutique was the talk of Albury. He hired sales girls, launched a loyalty program, posted daily style inspiration. Revenue flowed steadily. He bought himself an expensive watch and took his girlfriend to the finest restaurant. "This is just the beginning," he said, feeling invincible. Emmanuel came home once. Dirty boots, sunburned face. His mother asked, "How is it going?" "I'm learning, Mama. Planted cassava. The fish are growing. I'm studying what the market needs most." Victor, overhearing, laughed. "Fish are growing? Bro, I made more than your entire pond is worth in 1 weekend." Emmanuel didn't respond. He just smiled and returned to the village. 6 months in, all 3 brothers seemed to be winning. Michael's car was campus royalty. Victor's boutique was a landmark. Even Emmanuel seemed content in his quiet way. Nobody could tell who was actually winning. 9 months in, Michael's 17 million car sat in the compound, completely dead. The transmission had failed catastrophically. The repair quote made his stomach drop. He couldn't even come close to affording it. The strategic asset he'd bought to project success now mocked him every single day. Worse, Chidi had vanished completely. 800,000 gone, blocked everywhere. Maya had left him 3 weeks ago. "Michael, you're 31, still living with your parents, walking around because your car is broken. I can't do this anymore." She'd already moved on to someone else. Another MBA graduate, but one with an actual working car. He'd withdrawn from the PhD program last month, couldn't afford to continue. He had barely 1 million left from 20 million. All those business strategies, all that MBA knowledge about asset allocation and investment, worthless. He deleted Instagram entirely, couldn't face his old posts. The car, the lifestyle, the networking events, knowing it was all a house of cards built on terrible decisions. One evening, his mother found him staring at the ceiling, tears streaming silently. "Mama?" His voice cracked. "I studied business management for 4 years and I destroyed everything Papa gave me anyway." She held him while he cried. Victor wasn't doing any better. The boutique was hemorrhaging. Sales had collapsed to almost nothing. The 3.2 million he'd paid upfront for rent, locked in, irretrievable. The 8 million in designer inventory, most of it unsold, collecting dust, some pieces even going out of season. His sales girls had quit weeks ago. He'd paid them their back wages just to prevent them from talking badly about him online. His Instagram had gone completely silent. No more club stories. No more bottle service videos. No more designer flexing. His last post weeks ago showed him at the boutique with a forced smile. The comments hurt. "Guy, where you dey? Business fail?" He couldn't answer. couldn't admit he'd blown through 300,000 monthly on lifestyle and image, while his actual business bled to death. Meanwhile, Emmanuel was quietly thriving in the village. 10 months in, Emmanuel's first contract, Mama D's Kitchen, had gone so well that word spread through Oweri's restaurant community. The Royal Palms Hotel called wanting weekly deliveries. A food distributor wanted cassava flour in bulk for their processing plant. Emmanuel expanded carefully. He hired 3 young men from the village at fair wages. He built additional fish ponds. He planted another acre of cassava. His cheap Android phone rang constantly with orders. One afternoon, his mother visited the farm unannounced. She almost couldn't recognize the place. 7 organized ponds, crystal clear and teeming with healthy fish. 4 acres of lush green cassava in perfect rows. A processing shed where workers packaged products into containers labeled Eze Farms. Fresh, honest quality. "This is real business, Emma," she cried, overwhelmed. "The land doesn't lie, Mama. It rewards honest work." Back in Oweri, Michael, desperate for answers, paid to see a spiritualist everyone whispered about. The man threw cowries, closed his eyes, muttered incantations. "Your village people are fighting you," he said gravely. "Someone is using juju against you. This oil, rub it on your forehead every morning for 7 days. You'll start prospering." Michael paid for the oil. He used it for 7 days. Nothing changed. His situation got worse. Desperate again, Michael went to a pastor who promised spiritual breakthrough. The pastor prayed over him, then said, "My son, someone close to you is using your destiny to shine. Your younger brother tapped into your glory. That's why you're struggling." Michael's heart sank. Could it be true? Is Emmanuel using my destiny? He paid for deliverance sessions. Still nothing changed. 2 months later, broke and desperate, Michael paid to see a business consultant. The man listened to his story, then noticed his resume on the table. "Wait, you have an MBA?" "University of Lagos," Michael said quietly. The man laughed, not kindly. "You have a master's in business administration, and you spent 17 million on a depreciating asset. You lent 800,000 without a contract or collateral. You didn't do feasibility studies before any purchase." Michael looked down, ashamed. "And you went to a spiritualist and a pastor?" the consultant asked. "Yes," Michael admitted. "The spiritualist said my village people cursed me. The pastor said Emmanuel is using my destiny." The consultant cut him off sharply. "This is exactly how certain advice or misguided guidance can lead to family and marriage problems. Listen to me carefully. Emmanuel is not using your destiny. Your village people did not curse you. You are responsible for your own failure because you didn't apply wisdom or use what you studied." He shook his head with disgust. "Your degree is worthless because you never used it. You spent 20 million like someone who's never read a finance textbook in his life." Michael walked out, finally understanding. There was no curse, just his terrible decisions. 11 months in, Victor made a painful decision: close the boutique permanently. He sold everything at half price in a desperate clearance sale. He pivoted to online clothing sales. No rent, no overhead, just pure hustle. Small profits trickled in. Michael joined to help with marketing and copy. Together they were barely surviving on modest income. But Emmanuel, his farm was booming beyond imagination. 7 fish ponds producing, 4 acres of cassava yielding, 5 major contracts, 3 workers. His business was thriving. What Michael and Victor didn't know, the night Emmanuel received his 10 million, he'd knelt beside his bed and prayed, "God, bless the work of my hands. Give me wisdom beyond my years. Guide every decision." God had answered that prayer, not with magic, but with wisdom, discipline and favor. 11 months in, 5 weeks until the meeting. Michael and Victor's online clothing business was keeping them barely alive. Small profits split between them. Just enough to survive, not nearly enough to face their father with any dignity. Victor stared at his phone calendar one night, anxiety crushing his chest. 5 weeks until Judgment Day. Bro, he said to Michael, who was editing product descriptions, we have absolutely nothing impressive to show Papai. Michael stopped typing, rubbing his exhausted eyes. I know. We started with 40 million combined. We'll walk in there with almost nothing and a tiny online business that barely covers transport. The silence between them was heavy with shame. Victor finally spoke. What if we go see Emmanuel? Maybe he's struggling too. Maybe we can all admit we learned hard lessons and face Papa together. 2 days later, the brothers took an Okada to the village. Michael's 17 million strategic asset was still rotting uselessly in the compound. When they arrived at the family land, both of them froze mid-step. The transformation was absolutely staggering. 7 massive fish ponds, crystal clear, 4 acres of lush cassava in perfect rows, a processing shed with a sign, Eze Farms, quality you can trust. 3 young men working, 1 netted fish, another packaged cassava flour into branded bags. A third loaded a small delivery truck with insulated coolers. Emmanuel walked out in work boots and a branded polo shirt, Eze Farms embroidered on the chest, phone pressed to his ear, clearly closing a deal. Yes, sir, I can deliver Friday morning. Perfect. Thank you, sir. He ended the call and spotted his brothers. His face lit up with genuine joy. Ah, Michael, Victor, welcome. This is such a surprise. Victor's jaw dropped. Emma, what is all this? Emmanuel wiped his hands. My farm, I've been supplying restaurants, hotels, distributors. Business is good, thank God. How good? Michael whispered, barely able to process what he was seeing. Emmanuel shrugged humbly. I can't complain. God has been faithful. But they could see everything with their own eyes. The massive scale, the professional organization, the employed workers, the delivery truck, the constant business calls, the branded operation. This wasn't good. This was a thriving enterprise. Michael felt something twist painfully in his chest. Immense pride in his younger brother mixed with soul-crushing shame at his own catastrophic failure. Victor's voice came out broken, barely holding back tears. Emma, we messed up. Really, really badly. Emmanuel's smile faded. What happened? Michael exhaled. Everything collapsed. I bought that 17 million car that broke down, lent 800,000 to Chidi who disappeared, dropped out of my PhD. I have an MBA, Emma. I studied business, and I still destroyed everything. I have maybe 300,000 left from 20 million. Victor continued, voice thick with shame. My boutique crashed, 3.2 million locked in rent, 8 million on inventory. Some of it turned out to be counterfeit designer goods. My Lego supplier scammed me, mixed fake items with real ones. Customers discovered it and destroyed my reputation online. Plus, I burned 300,000 monthly on clubs and lifestyle while my business was bleeding, had to close everything, sold my stock at massive loss. He paused, fighting tears. We're doing online sales just to survive, Emma. Making pocket money, literally pocket money. Emmanuel listened quietly. Finally, he nodded. Mama told me I've been praying for you both. We don't need prayers, bro, Victor said, his voice breaking entirely. We need a miracle. In 5 weeks, Papa will ask what we built with his 40 million, and we have nothing to show except complete failure and shame. Emmanuel looked at them, humbled, exhausted, broken. The same brothers who'd mocked him for choosing farming. Come inside the shed, Emmanuel said quietly. Let's talk properly. Inside the processing shed, Emmanuel pulled out an organized folder from a locked cabinet. Contracts, receipts, delivery schedules, client contact information, bank statements, growth projections. This is what I've been doing, he said, spreading everything on a clean table, learning, building relationships with buyers, one customer at a time, delivering consistent quality even when it was hard, reinvesting every single money of profit back into expansion instead of spending it. Michael flipped through the documents, eyes widening. Professional contracts with 5 businesses, organized systems, real growth. Emma, these numbers, this organization, you're actually running a real company here. With God's help and a lot of hard work. Victor sat heavily. Meanwhile, we're out here selling t-shirts on Instagram status like hustling teenagers. Emmanuel looked at both of them seriously. Listen carefully. You two can help me scale this operation. Michael, you're intelligent with systems, documentation. I desperately need someone to professionalize everything. Victor, you understand branding, social media, marketing. I need someone to build a brand that can compete regionally. Michael blinked, processing. You want us to work for you? With me, not for me. As partners, I'll pay fair salaries. And as the business expands and profits increase, we share in that growth. We're brothers. Why should I succeed alone while you both suffer? That makes absolutely no sense. Victor felt tears sting his eyes. After everything, after we laughed at your dream. Emmanuel's voice was steady, sincere, unshakable. You're still my brothers. That doesn't change because you made mistakes. What matters is what you do after. Michael's voice broke completely. We don't deserve this grace, Emma. We don't deserve your forgiveness or generosity. Maybe not, but I'm offering it anyway. So what do you say? The brothers looked at each other. Then at Emmanuel. Yes, they said together. Yes, thank you. The next 4 weeks, the three brothers worked together for the first time in their lives. Truly worked, side by side with common purpose and mutual respect. Michael organized Emmanuel's chaotic paperwork into proper business systems, the kind they taught in his MBA program. Financial projections, inventory management, client relationship tracking. For the first time, his business education was actually creating value instead of justifying waste. You're really good at this, Emmanuel said, reviewing the spreadsheets. I studied it for 2 years, Michael replied quietly. I just never had the humility to apply it properly. Victor completely rebranded the entire operation from scratch. Professional logo design, clean EF with green leaf and fish motif. Strategic Instagram presence, easy farms, fresh from our family to yours. Professional photography of the ponds, fields, product, satisfied customers. Educational content about sustainable farming. 2 major contracts came in within 10 days. Emmanuel paid them their first salaries. Honest money for honest work. But all three brothers understood the painful reality approaching. When they walked into that family meeting in 3 days, Emmanuel would report massive, undeniable success. Michael and Victor would report catastrophic, humiliating failure. 3 days before the meeting, Victor pulled Emmanuel aside as the sun set over the cassava fields. In 3 days, you're walking into Papa's house as an absolute champion. We're walking in as complete failures who had to beg our baby brother to rescue us. Michael joined them. When Papa asks us to report our results, we're telling him the full truth. You deserve all the victory. You earned it while we failed spectacularly. Emmanuel felt the weight of what was coming. But we're working together now. Doesn't that count for something? To us, it counts for everything, Michael said quietly. But Papa's test was clear. What did you build with your money? We didn't build anything, we destroyed what we had. Let's just trust what Papa will say, Emmanuel replied softly. But deep down, all three brothers feared the same questions. Would this test tear their family apart forever? Would their father's disappointment cut too deep to heal? Day 365. The living room felt impossibly small. Chief Eze sat like a judge. Mama Modesty beside him, eyes glistening. The three brothers stood like defendants awaiting sentencing. The silence was suffocating. 1 year ago, Chief began, voice heavy. I gave you 60 million, 20 years of sacrifice. Today you tell me what you built. Michael speak first. Michael's throat was dry. Papa, I failed you completely. His mother gasped. You gave me 20 million. I have an MBA. I studied finance, strategy, investment. But I spent 17 million on a car that broke down. I lent 800,000 to Chidi, who disappeared. I dropped out of my PhD. I wasted hundreds of thousands on lifestyle. I used business theory to justify terrible decisions. I have less than 300,000 left. My MBA meant nothing because I lacked discipline. This past month, I've been working with Emmanuel, finally applying what I studied, but for his business, not mine. I destroyed the opportunity you gave me. He stepped back, head bowed, crushing silence. Chief turned. Victor, your turn. Victor's hands shook. Papa, I also failed. I opened a boutique, spent 3.2 million on rent upfront for the entire year, 8 million on inventory from a Lagos supplier, but he scammed me. He mixed counterfeit designer goods with real ones. I didn't verify properly because I was rushing. Customers discovered the fakes and exposed me online. My reputation was destroyed overnight. Tears flowed. Sales collapsed completely. I spent over $1 million trying to save the business, buying authentic replacements, running damage control, and on top of that, I wasted $300,000 monthly on clubs and lifestyle trying to look successful while everything was dying. Had to close the boutique. Sold everything at 50% loss. Like Michael, I begged Emmanuel for help. I have about 3.6 million left, mostly from liquidating my failed business. I failed you terribly, Papa. Mama Modesty was crying openly. Chief's voice was iron. You both lost nearly 40 million in less than a year. Yes, sir, they whispered. Chief turned to Emmanuel. And you? Emmanuel stepped forward, placing a folder on the table. Papa, you gave me 10 million and our land. At first I felt hurt. My brothers got more, but I focused on what I had. He opened it. Photos of transformed ponds, lush fields, the shed, workers, products, contracts, records. I rebuilt the pond into proper sections, planted cassava, bought equipment, spent months learning and village farmers, made mistakes but kept improving. Today I have contracts with 5 businesses. I've employed 3 workers, reinvested all profits, and with Michael and Victor helping this month, we've secured bigger opportunities. He placed a bank statement before his father. This is where I stand. Chief picked it up. His eyes scanned the total 22.7 million. Mama Modesty looked over. Her hand flew to her chest. Jesus, my son, Victor whispered. He doubled it. Chief's face remained stone. You turned 10 million into 22.7 million? In 1 year? Yes, Papa. With God's help and hard work. Complete silence, then Chief stood. He walked to Emmanuel and embraced him fiercely. You have made me so incredibly proud, my son. Emmanuel's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, Papa. Then Chief shocked everyone. He turned to Michael and Victor and opened his arms. Come here. They hesitated. Papa, we failed. I said, come here. He embraced all 3 sons together. You think I'm disappointed? His voice broke with emotion. The money was never the real test. He stepped back. Yes, Emmanuel succeeded brilliantly, but you two learned something equally valuable. Humility. A year ago, you were arrogant. You mocked your brother. You thought success was about looking successful. But today you told me the complete truth. No excuses. And you humbled yourselves to ask your younger brother for help. Your pride would have destroyed you. He turned to Emmanuel. And you could have gloated, could have rejected them. Instead, you lifted them up. That's true leadership. Mama Modesty stood, crying with joy. This is what I prayed for. Not money, unity. Chief pulled out envelopes. Emmanuel, this is 5 million. Bonus for your success. Then 2 more envelopes appeared. Michael, Victor, 3 million each from my own savings, not a reward for failure, but investment in your future. You'll continue with Emmanuel, not as employees, but as partners. I'm giving you each 15% ownership. Emmanuel keeps 70%. The 3 million is your capital investment to scale the business. Michael fell to his knees. We don't deserve this grace. Chief pulled them up. You learned that real wealth isn't what you're given. It's what you build with your hands and your brothers beside you. Emmanuel pulled them both into a tight hug. All 3 crying now. We do this together from now on. Emmanuel said firmly, his voice steady despite his tears. No more competition, no more comparison, no more pride, no more individual glory. Just brothers, just family, together until the end. Mama Modesty blessed them. This family is whole again. Chief smiled. The test was complete. Everyone had passed, just not how anyone expected. 2 years later, Eze Farms became the largest family-owned agricultural enterprise in Imo State. Emmanuel ran operations, Michael handled systems and contracts, Victor managed branding. Monthly profits exceeded 5 million, split fairly. Michael completed his PhD, paid with earned money. He never bought another luxury car. Victor built an authentic brand. He married a woman who loved him for his character and values, not his car or his Instagram following. Emmanuel never forgot the foundational lesson that made everything possible. The land doesn't lie. Neither do honest relationships built on trust. Neither does family when they finally learn to face the hard truth together. The 17 million broken car sat in the family compound for 2 more months after the meeting, a silent reminder of pride and waste. Then Michael quietly sold it for parts for 1.8 million and invested every single naira back into the farm. And Chief Eze, he watched his sons work together and knew the 60 million was the best investment he ever made in his entire life. Not because of the financial return, though that was substantial and ongoing. Not because one son succeeded brilliantly, though that brought him deep joy. But because it bought his sons something money can never truly buy on its own: humility, unity, purpose, character, brotherhood. It taught them that going to school does not give you an automatic ticket to knowledge and success. It taught them that failure isn't final when you're willing to learn from it with an open heart. It showed them that success means absolutely nothing if you achieve it alone and refuse to share it. It proved that grace is infinitely more powerful than harsh judgment. And it revealed the eternal truth that the greatest wealth isn't what you have in your bank account. It's who you become in the process of building it, and who stands faithfully beside you when you finally arrive. Which brother's journey hit you hardest? Comment below.